Alright, hey guys, it's me again, and today we're going to talk about Expedite Suffering. Now, Expedite Suffering is the Hellbent ability that you get at rank 9, and honestly, I don't get the point of it, because I guess apparently we were having trouble getting kills with slash procs and toxin procs, but all it does is it immediately ends any toxin or slash procs on the enemy, but it also multiplies the damage by, well, whatever your power strength is set to. In this case, it's going to multiply it by 2.1. And any damage they would have dealt is just dealt immediately instead of just delayed. So it's basically like damage over time, but for impatient people. But even then, I don't know why you'd want to spend energy on this when you can just wait. This may have some use in high endurance runs, just to speed kills up a bit. I could see it working there, but literally nowhere else. It's just not that practical. The best argument I could see for using this ability is with Garuda's 4. Now, Garuda's 4 turns any instance of damage into a slash proc, and if you stack that with this doesn't remove Garuda's mark at all. So it just turns whatever damage that got multiplied into another slash proc, and it keeps going and going and going. And so if you were to say, I'm gonna pause AI and just take like a bunch of Juggernaut behemoths, right? These guys are really, really tanky, though they're not level 500 anymore. But level 170, right? They're paused. Get my energy here. Hit them with Garuda's 4. And then I can constantly multiply and multiply and multiply that damage with Expedite Suffering, and it may look slow, but here it comes. Here comes the damage. You can see some of them died, but the one in front of me didn't. I guess because my duration is a little low on the mark, but that's alright. Yeah. And you see, it can actually kill Juggernaut Behemoths. The reason I have them paused is because these guys just charge everywhere and they move a lot. But yeah, that's the only case where it sort of makes sense against really, really high armor and health. But even then, so if I just pull out, say, like a high single target damage weapon, right? And we take against one Juggernaut Behemoth, right? I use Garuda's 4. I can kind of do something similar. So it's really not that impressive, honestly. Because Garuda can deal with these guys already, no problem. It's not an issue for her. So that's technically like an infinite damage loop, because it'll just keep multiplying and multiplying in the same way Breach Surge is an infinite damage loop, sort of, kind of, except Breach Surge takes a long, long time to build up to actually be decent, and by the time it gets to decent damage, everything's dead already, and you have to start all over again. And just the cycle keeps getting longer and longer with Breach Surge. And while it's a little faster with Expedite Suffering on Garuda, it's not even like that impressive or even really practical. So what about Toxin procs? Well, I've tried Saren, specifically with a Toxic Lash build, right? This is what I use. And I have, instead of multi, I have Expedite Suffering here, right? And it may seem pretty good. Let's take the Pangolin Prime. And instead of Corrosive, I'm just going to have Pure Toxin. Okay, so against like Corrupted Heavy Gunners, for example, and I pop Toxic Lash, right? Pure Toxin Pangolin. And then I use that. Right, that might seem pretty good. It might seem like the Pangolin is a god weapon, I guess, with Expedite Suffering. But, I mean, if you just would have, like, waited, like, a little bit, right, the Pangolin's damage would have just killed the enemy anyways. Right? Why do you need to spend like 50 energy base on that? Right? And if I were to put Corrosive on instead of just Toxin, so we get Corrosive, Toxin, and then slash procs occasionally. Bring out the Heavy Gunners again. Toxic Lash. Right? Oh my goodness, it's doing so much damage, but if you just would have waited, it would have killed them anyways. So I feel like this is just a waste of energy, especially on some Toxin procs. Because, yeah, just doing a full combo instead of just doing 2 hits and an Expedite Suffering would have achieved the exact same result in the exact same amount of time. Right? And then combo's only increasing that even further. So Why bother with it, honestly? It doesn't, I can't see use for this yet. I've also tried Grendel. I've also tried this on Ash as well. But Ash's Blade Storm is a bit bugged right now, and it's not doing the proper damage. But on Grendel, Grendel does a lot of toxin damage, and he can boost toxin damage further with Nourish Strike. So let's say against the Corpus, for example. So bring up a Corpus tech. Now if we were to use, like, say, that Nourish Strike paired with Expedite Suffering, so hit him with that, he's dead, right? And that seems pretty good, but the thing is with Grendel, if you just like suck up a whole bunch of enemies in the first place, so just like more than one enemy, and just spit them all back out, like, I don't have to use Expedite Suffering. It just kills them immediately. It does like 100k damage. Something that doesn't do a whole lot of damage, like say the Mutilus Cernos. What about that? So I have a pure toxin Mutilus Cernos with Honey Munitions, Split Flights, the works. So let's say against the Corpus. So even with something that doesn't do a whole lot of damage, like the Mutilus Cernos, right? If I just use more charged headshots, I do quite a bit of damage, as you guys can see. So even then, like, I don't really see why you want to use this. And even then, it's not getting kills. But if I literally just wait a little bit, right? Get a well-placed shot in with my Mutilus Cernos, it's fine. And even then, Expedite Suffering doesn't really do anything here because the toxin procs themselves aren't doing a whole lot. But they are stacking up pretty high. Now, against armor, let's say our 20 heavy gunners again, right? Toxin doesn't do a whole lot against armor anymore since they removed the bonus against Ferrite armor. So, let's see. We're stacking up pretty high. Got like 100 something on that. That actually got a kill there. Only downside is I need over 100 toxin procs for me to secure a kill there. And you see, it's kind of a mess there. So I need to be proccing a lot of toxin, and even then, sometimes it's not going to kill. That guy had like 230 something toxin procs on him, and Expedite Suffering did not kill him at all. Honestly, I don't really know what would make this ability good in the right situation. Maybe if instead of it ending the toxin procs or the slash procs, it just buffed them and that's it. It just increased, multiply their damage. Like, that's it. And then it didn't end the toxin or the slash proc at all. Maybe then I can see there being some use for this ability. But right until then, like, this is not that amazing. Like, as you saw there on Juggernaut Behemoths with Garuda, it did okay. But even then, even in, like, say, regular missions, it's really not that practical compared to just bullets and maybe a little bit of waiting. I guess it could help out some weapons that aren't, like, normally good with viral and make viral on that in particular weapon better. Like, for example, the Hind. This is what I'm running on the Hind. Instead of running Corrosive Heat, I'm running Viral Heat, and I guess a little bit of Radiation because that's the bonus I have on my Kuva Hind. But if I bring up the Heavy Gunners again... Right, and oh, they flung her around. Right, but you see there, like, she was almost dead already. This doesn't really make any sense to have. Like, I get it. If people are really that impatient for waiting for damage over time procs, then maybe Expedite Suffering, like, it could be useful to that person in particular. But even then, it just does not make a whole lot of sense. So yeah, anyway, guys, that's all for me. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.